Welcome to this explainer. If you're a focus learner looking to finally demystify the modern media relations process, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're tearing down the guesswork of PR and exploring Linkonize's earned media engine. It's essentially a data-driven architecture for repeatable media success. Let's get right into it. So, why is it that some companies consistently dominate headlines, land in trusted news outlets, and completely stare industry conversations, while others just never hear back from a single journalist? You know, it's a glaring and honestly frustrating disparity. For so many business owners and executives out there, seeing their perfectly crafted emails just gather dust in a reporter's inbox is a constant struggle. But there is a very distinct reason why this happens. And no, it's not just about who you know. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture a journalist's inbox for a second. It's an absolute war zone of hundreds of emails every single day. Most pitches fail instantly because they rely on this outdated spray and pray mass email approach. They're way too promotional, poorly targeted, or they just lack actual genuine news value. A lot of organizations assume that getting media success just comes from sending more emails. Actually, scratch that. It's more like sending louder emails. But blasting generic pitches doesn't just fail. It actively harms your chances and damages your brand by clogging up inboxes with stuff that's completely missing a compelling angle. To fix this, we really need a paradigm shift. Enter the earned media engine. Instead of relying on one-off lucky outreach, we define this as a highly structured, data-driven process for consistently generating high-quality media opportunities. It's the strategic solution that separates pure luck from serious, calculated preparation. Think of it like two completely different worlds. Mass distribution relies on sheer numbers. It's that old-school method of blindly blasting generic press releases and just crossing your fingers that something sticks. But strategic planning, which is really the Linkonize standard, is all about precision targeting and genuine relationship building. It's about creating sustainable visibility that strengthens an organization over the long haul. So, how does this engine actually operate? It boils down to a straightforward six-step framework: intelligence before outreach, finding the story, journalist mapping, personalized pitch development, strategic follow-up, and measuring results. We're going to walk through each of these actionable steps right now. Starting with step 1, intelligence before outreach. I want to emphasize this heavily. The entire process actually starts long before a single pitch email is ever drafted. You have to start with deep intelligence gathering and analyzing the landscape. By looking closely at industry developments, policy changes, current trends, and what the public is actually talking about, we can spot precise gaps. Understanding these specific environmental factors and editorial priorities is absolutely crucial because it allows a brand to step in and contribute truly meaningful insights to a conversation that's already in motion. That takes us to step 2, finding the story. Now, this requires a little bit of tough love because we constantly have to remind ourselves that not every internal company announcement actually deserves media attention. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. A minor software update or a generic corporate hire, yeah, that usually gets completely ignored. But original research and data, expert analysis on an industry trend, or public affairs and community impact, now that is a great story. We have to transform standard corporate information into compelling narratives that journalists actively want to cover. Next up is step 3, journalist mapping. Because here's the thing, even the most data-rich, compelling story is completely useless if you pitch it to the wrong person. You have to meticulously evaluate the right contacts. What are their reporting beats? What do their previous articles look like? What is their editorial style? You also have to factor in geographic relevance and industry expertise. Evaluating these specific journalist traits is a real game changer. It dramatically improves response rates and establishes high-quality relationships right out of the gate. Which brings us to step 4, personalized pitch development. Since we've mapped our journalists so carefully, generic templates are completely out the window. Every single pitch has to be specifically tailored. The anatomy of a perfect pitch requires a strong subject line, a super concise introduction, and a crystal clear news angle. You also want to include relevant supporting data, expert spokesperson info, and easy-to-use media resources. Journalists highly value clarity, relevance, and efficiency, and delivering exactly what they need shows you respect their time. All right, moving on to the critical step 5, strategic follow-up. This is where a lot of well-meaning professionals stumble. Addressing a pending pitch requires a very delicate balance. You have professional follow-up on one side, which means respecting editorial timelines and answering inquiries lightning fast. And on the other side, you have persistent pestering, blindly badgering reporters just to get a yes or no, which honestly just burns bridges. Always remember, long-term trust matters infinitely more than short-term coverage. Finally, they arrive at step 6 of the engine, measuring results. Any successful PR strategy has to include how we track our success. And evaluating this outreach goes way beyond just counting how many links got published. We're looking at the quality of those media placements, audience reach, and the overall share of voice. We look closely at brand sentiment and long-term relationship growth. And since this is an engine, this evaluation data feeds right back into step 1 to continuously refine and improve all your future campaigns.
Now, let's step back and look at building long-term impacts.
So the crucial point is that executing this structured strategy isn't just about getting a mention in an article. It directly supports broader, long-term organizational objectives. Organizations that invest in this methodology build greater public trust and strengthen executive visibility. They increase their industry authority, improve stakeholder confidence, and even support advocacy campaigns. It shifts PR from short-term publicity stunts to generating incredible long-term brand credibility. And because media relations doesn't exist in a vacuum, Linkonize's integrated approach acts as the perfect partner here. They combine this specific earned media engine with deep public affairs expertise, thought leadership, and reputation management. It ensures every single piece of media coverage aligns perfectly with your big picture goals. Ultimately, to encapsulate this whole framework, it comes down to this core thesis. Media coverage isn't won by chance. It's earned through preparation, insight, and meaningful storytelling. Success is a deliberate outcome, for sure, not a stroke of luck. So, I'll leave you with this. Are you and your organization finally ready to stop wildly chasing headlines and start actually earning them? If you want to move beyond the spray and pray approach and build a smarter strategy, visit Linkonize.com to learn more. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.